Ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So here we are in the first hybrid, second hybrid. Public forum. Please note that each person will have up to 2 minutes to speak at public forum. And please start by stating your name and address. Recognizing that there may be people at the meeting in person and participating remotely who would like to speak, we'll go to the room first. Is there anyone present in the meeting room who would like to speak during public session? Come on up. You have 2 minutes.
Hold on, don't start.
Steve Slamman, 278 Cedar Street, and your fire chief. Hopkinton is a great community, and the Hopkinton Fire Department is poised to serve it well. The women and men of the Hopkinton Fire Department are well-trained professionals that embrace our caring philosophy. Against that backdrop, I would like to brief you on my 2021 retirement plan. I have known this day is coming for a while, which made transitioning plan easy to talk about early on with my officers. I can proudly report to you that the organization is ready. You have an outstanding pool of firefighters poised to advance. Finally, I have a grumpy hip that's telling me I've run out of time and it's time to retire. You have an in-depth look at the organization at your fingertips, which includes budget proposals, annual reports, and my self-evaluation. All of these documents are meaningfully developed and supportive of the plan. I came into this position with quite a bit of attention, and now I hope to transition out with little fanfare. I can't start to thank you enough tonight. I'm not ready, but it's time for everyone to know that it's time for me to move forward with the transition. Thanks.
Thank you. Chief Slamman, I think you cannot expect little fanfare. Is there anyone else who would like to speak?
I don't think I can.
No. There'll be time.
Is there anyone participating?
I don't want to accept the resignation.
I know. I was going to say, maybe we cut him short from his 2 minutes and not let him say it. Is there anyone participating remotely via Zoom who wishes to speak at the public forum? Please use the raise hand feature of Zoom now.
Liven them up, Ben. Let me get the stopwatch going.
Where is he?
Who do you got? Ben, do you have a name for us? Alana Cassidy. Alana, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
You are.
Oh, yeah.
Hear you now.
See you now.
See you.
You're on.
I'm sorry I'm not there in person. I'm Alana Cassidy. I live in 19 Eastview Road, and I'm the chair of the Hopkinton Cultural Council. I just wanted to quickly follow up with the letter I sent earlier to clarify the number of vacancies on the HCC. Last year, the select board voted to increase our member limit from 12 to 13 members. We currently have all 13 members with one member's term expiring this month. I've seen it written as June 1st and June 30th. On the website, it says June 30th. But with his departure, we'll have one vacancy. We also know another member is moving at the end of the summer and plans to resign, but still is a current active member. The town website's totally up to date with the membership and no current vacancies, and I'm not totally sure where the confusion is of where the vacancies are, how many there are, but we're super excited about the membership interest. So we currently have 2 applicants that are going to be coming later on tonight, and we're really excited about meeting them. And I suggest that we just accept the applicants in order that they applied to make it fair. So Kathy Yang was the first for the first vacancy. I'm not sure if you have to wait until after June 30th, because that's when the vacancy actually is official, according to the website. And then Ekaterina Nomova will be at the end of the summer when the other position is open. So let me know. I'm not sure if I should stay for that discussion, or if you want me to hang out for the discussion later, or if that was enough information for you. that's it.
Thank you. I mean, you're welcome to stick around for the discussion when we get to it.
I think there are actually 3 applicants, but
Did that clarify everything, though?
Say one more time, please.
Did that clarify the vacancies and everything? Did that make sense?
Yes, but it probably wouldn't be a bad idea if you wanted to stick around.
All right, I'll stick around.
All right. Where did you see the raised hand?
I didn't. I looked at Ben. and
Oh,
Ben said we
okay.
had one.
Okay. Is that it? All right, great. Consent agenda. The board will consider approving the consent agenda consisting of approval of the minutes of the May 28, 2021 and June 1st, 2021 meetings, and accepting the following gifts to the ambulance fund in memory of Lawrence Tedstone. $100 from James Bartlett, $50 from Claire Wright, $250 from Daniel and Eileen McIntyre, and $20 from Elaine Mullen. Board members, would you like to break any of these items out for a separate vote?
Yeah, I'd certainly like to break out the ambulance fund.
Okay. So then I request a motion to approve the consent agenda minus the ambulance fund.
I would make a motion to approve the minutes, yep.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, how do we vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Mr. Tedstone.
So obviously, this is, the Lawrence Tedstone is my father, and it's mixed emotions, obviously, that, that these people are donating after my father's passed. But these people that donated, Jimmy Bartlett, Claire Wright, Danny and Eileen, and Mrs. Mullen, it's great to see. These are people that either I have been friends with my entire life, or my father and mother have been friends with their entire life. So it's really nice to see in my father's memory that it goes on to that ambulance fund, which is an absolutely awesome landing for donations. So Jimmy and Claire and Danny and Eileen and Mrs. Mullen, thank you guys very much. So that said, I'll make a motion to accept the gifts from Jimmy Bartlett, Claire Wright, Danny and Eileen McIntyre, and Mrs. Mullen.
I'll second.
Any discussion? I just have one quick comment. I think everything you said is appropriate, and the condolences, and I think it's a wonderful gift in memory of your dad. So
Thank you very much.
So I would like to say something quickly too, Brendan. I think it's a wonderful tribute to you and your whole family, and we're all thinking about you at this time.
Thank you.
so we have a motion, it's been seconded. How do we vote?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None? Okay, it passes unanimously.
Thank you, everyone.
2021 Boston Marathon Parade Permit Application. The board will consider approving a parade permit for the BAA for the 125th Boston Marathon being held on October 11, 2021. Do we have someone to present for the BAA?
They were in the hallway. Are they not?
Ben's got someone? Perhaps?
Good evening, everyone.
There we go.
There we go. Stuart Wall on behalf of the BAA. So as mentioned, the Boston Athletic Association is requesting that the town of Hopkinton issue a parade permit to conduct the 125th Boston Marathon to be held on Monday, October 11th, 2021. And I think this is normally where I would say our plans are very similar to what they were last year, but of course they're not. And I did want to especially call out the close coordination with many of the town departments over the past year and a half, including police, fire, schools, and public works, and to say that we're optimistic for a safe and successful event in 2021, really in large part due to that close coordination. And in light of Chief Slayman's comments just a few moments ago, just to note that he's always been a champion of the event and of public safety, and it's been a pleasure working with him, and look forward to continuing to do so throughout 2021. The BAA has been following the news and recent announcements by the CDC and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and each of the cities and towns that comprise the Boston Marathon route. We've had the opportunity to work on and share operational plans with our COVID-19 Medical and Event Operations Advisory Group and various subcommittees. And I expect that our event plans are going to continue to evolve and be shaped by whatever the most current information and guidance that we can get that's available. But I think some things that we're looking to do won't be changing in terms of 2021, and those are different. So pointing out a few of those key ones, the first is reducing the field size to create additional space for social distancing. So we decreased the field size early from 30,000 to 20,000 participants. Additionally, we're still looking to do and planning to have a confirmation of health status prior to participants entering BA transportation and therefore the town of Hopkinton. So things like proof of vaccination or a test result. We're still planning for participants and volunteers to wear masks in key identified areas based on the proximity of individuals, available ventilation, and duration of contact. And maybe perhaps the largest change that affects Hopkinton is the introduction of a rolling start format that eliminates runner corrals, limits potential exposure time between athletes, and creates enough space for social distancing at the start, throughout the course, and at the finish. And we believe that will really help space out our runners. Our smaller field will be spaced out over a greater period of time and just make a more enjoyable and safe experience for everyone involved. So we're currently reviewing site plans, event timelines, equipment needs, and other items, and coordinating with the town, the Hopkinton Marathon Committee, start team captains, and others as required. And as it states in our formal request, we request that the Town of Hopkinton's authorization include permission to control and utilize the roadway and adjacent sidewalks and other appropriate areas as determined in our planning sessions to conduct the race in a safe and controlled manner. This includes permission to deliver and install course signage, hydration stations, portable toilets, medical stations, timing mats, mile markers, sponsor activations, and other equipment. We look forward to continuing to work with the town to conduct a safe and successful event for the athletes, volunteers, and spectators taking part in the 2021 Boston Marathon. And I'm happy to answer any questions that I'm able to at this time.
Thank you very much. Board members, do you have any questions? Mr. Tedson?
I do not.
Ms. Lafreniere?
Just a comment after reading the COVID guidelines for the event, that they're very extensive, and I have every confidence that GMS Sports, who ran the Gillette Stadium that just closed down today, and the other three major were done by BA volunteer participants that work for GM, for Dave McGilvery, and they've done a wonderful job. So I have every confidence that these will be adhered to. That's all.
Thank you. Ms. Ritterbusch?
Yep, I'll just say thanks for all the documentation in the packet and the presentation, and I'm really glad that you're able to do it again, but I think these are sensible precautions that allow you to do it safely, so thank you.
Muriel Kramer?
Just a comment, we're really looking forward to having you back on the roads and the race back in town. I do wonder, and I shouldn't even say it out loud, about a snow date. But we look forward to it. We look forward to that event coming back to town. It's important to us.
I echo that. I think we missed you. Welcome back. We can't wait to host it again. It's a fundamental part of the town of Hopkinton, so I think we're definitely looking forward to getting this race going again.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
If I may, through you. This is an issue, good evening. This is an issue that has just come to my attention very late in the day. One of the hallmarks, very successful aspect of the relationship or in the partnership between the town and the BAA is the invitational entry program. The deadline for the Boston Marathon invitational entries for this fall is June 30th. I am hearing from some of the community organizations that they are having difficulty meeting that deadline. So I would like to begin a discussion with the BAA in terms of whether we can get that deadline extended.
Yeah, I'm happy to bring that back to our athlete services group, and I'm sure we can figure out a solution to that. So I will pass that note along and make sure that someone reaches out to you tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. In that case, I request a motion to approve a parade permit for the Boston Marathon on October 11, 2021.
So moved.
Nope, second.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstained? Okay, passes unanimously. Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on, the elementary school building number 2, appointments. The board will consider finalist candidates recommended by the town manager and the school superintendent for the community members of the elementary school building committee number 2. Mr. Qualo.
Yeah, through the chair. Thank you very much. I also want to take this opportunity to recognize Superintendent Dr. Carol Cavanaugh for her work assisting us in getting to this point. As you may recall, this process started with the town being invited to the eligibility phase as part of the MSBA process. We also came to the board and requested an appropriation at a town meeting for a feasibility study. Following our preliminary meetings with the MSBA, we learned that the town needed to put together an elementary school building committee, which we did. Through your guidance, you put together a charge. Following that charge, we then advertised for specific positions through our normal channels. We then identified individuals together working with Dr. Cavanaugh to be interviewed. We interviewed 7 individuals, and following those interviews, we discussed what we had heard in terms of their qualifications and experience, and unanimously identified 4 individuals for your consideration tonight as the finalists. And this is consistent with the process that is laid out in the charge. In terms of the positions that we have brought forth, we are recommending the following. As a member of the community knowledgeable in educational mission and function of the facility, and such member having experience working with the MSBA school building process, we are recommending Mike Shepard for that position. At-large member of the community, we are recommending Tiffany Ostrander. She has extensive experience as a principal working on any issue, any and all issues that one can think of that can come before a school committee. She's currently a principal, I believe, in the Shrewsbury School District. As a member with architecture, engineering, and construction experience, we are recommending Jack Ruth Jathal. He has extensive experience working on large construction projects and most recently worked on 3 school projects. And as a member of the community with communications, PR, marketing, or facilitator experience, Jonathan Graziano, former member of the Appropriations Committee as well as School Committee. School Committee member recommended by the School Committee, Joe Markey. As the alternate, Leah Bettel Rafferty. The Appropriations Committee is recommending Bill F. Flannery. And then you have the town manager, the school superintendent, this Hopkinton Public Schools Director of Finance, the principal of Elmwood School, Ann Carver, and Tim Persons, the Hopkinton Public Schools Director of Facilities.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear you say who's going to be the member of the Appropriations Committee?
Bill Flannery is the
Bill
newest
Flannery,
member of the
okay.
Appropriations Committee.
So, Mr. Kamala, this was something that you have gone through. This is a a process where you have selected all these members, correct?
Yes, we followed the same process when we appointed members to the elementary school building committee that built the beautiful Marathon School.
And that came out fantastic. It was a great team.
Yes.
Board members, do we have any questions? Mr. Hudson?
Yeah, absolutely. So, just going through the list, I was on that last elementary school building committee. I took over for John Mosier when he left. And on this list, I've worked with 7 of the people that are now on the list, a few non-voting and a few voting. Top of the list is Mike Shepard. We are so lucky as a community to have a guy like Mike Shepard here. He knows the town inside and out. He knows this industry inside and out. He really was an integral part of our last committee, having us come in at around $3 million under budget. And anybody who knows municipal construction, you very rarely come in under budget. Mike did a great job of doing everything that he did, as well as keeping me in check, throwing my old-time Hopkins and stuff at the committee. So it's an absolutely no-brainer. We're lucky to have Mr. Shepard to throw his hat in the ring for this. And then Joe Markey was the chair. Norman, Dr. Kavanaugh, Susan, and Tim. I worked with all those people. Those are all very, very solid. John Graziani, too. Those are all very, very solid people on the committee. I can say without reservation that I put my stamp of approval behind them.
Excellent. Ms. Lafreniere?
No, I don't. I know most of these people. I know the job that they did in the past, and I am supporting. I had used this slip to fill out my things, and I just support them wholeheartedly.
Excellent. Ms. Ritterbusch?
I think it sounds like a good group, so.
Muriel Kramer?
No, well, I should say how much we appreciate the folks that are coming back. Brendan's right, Mike Shepard is amazing. I've worked with him before, and we've seen his work over the years, and still coming back for more, so good for Mike. Joe Markey put in yeoman's work, and certainly has been working really hard on the school committee and is back for more. John Graziano is a familiar face as well, and now I know I'm missing somebody, and that's always a mistake, but I think also some new faces on the committee, and it's a lot of work, and I think the community is very appreciative of our paid officials, our town volunteers, and the new volunteers for this school building committee, because it's a ton of work. And I just want to give a shout out to the last school building committee. They really set the gold standard for communicating and involving and keeping the town apprised and building buy-in with the residents, and it made a huge difference. And I know that with some of the familiar faces and John there in that position, we'll be well served that way again, because we don't get across a big finish line like this without the town buying in on it.
And, I mean, there's not much more I can say to add on. I think the team that did the Marathon School, it was a fantastic job, under budget. It's hard to argue with that. Bringing the same people back, plus some. Thank you all for throwing your names in the hat and taking this on. I do notice that there's a spot for a select board member. And we had a select board member who did a really great job last time around. And I was wondering if he would be...
I would be glad to, yep, in the sense of moving this meeting along, yes.
Thank you. All right. You want to read the whole motion?
You need to, I think you need
Do
to.
you have to read the whole motion?
I thought we read the whole thing.
Okay.
You want me to read it? Or...
I think we could say as on any stage, but...
So I move to appoint the members of the Elementary School Building Committee, number 2, with the term lengths for the life of the project as presented by Mr. Khumalo. Is that going to work, or do I read it?
That will work.
All right.
Adding, you have to add the select board member.
Oh, adding Mr. Brendan Tedstone as the select board member.
I'll second.
I think someone needs to make the motion.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion that's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstained? No. Passes unanimously. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Thank you. It's, I know it's no small task. Annual appointments. The board will begin making annual appointments to boards, committees, and offices this evening. This is the first round, with additional appointments to be made at the next meeting. I note that the vacancies have been noticed as required by the charter. First, we will consider the appointment of constable and traffic constables. I request a motion to appoint Barry Sims as constable to a term expiring June 30th, 2024.
So moved?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, so I believe I have to abstain from this. Mr. Sims is a board member of the corporation I work for.
Okay.
So I'm going to abstain from this.
All right. We have a motion and it's been seconded. We've Scott. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions?
Yeah, aye.
Okay. So it passes 401. I request a motion to approve, to appoint Rob Savolt, Paul Finneran, Patrick Rahil as traffic constables to terms expiring June 30th, 2024.
So moved?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously, 5-0. The board will now address appointments to boards and committees listed in our packet where there are no contested seats. I would like to treat it like a consent agenda where we list the appointments and then vote at the end on all of them at once after members have an opportunity to pull any out for a separate vote. Then we'll take up the contested seats. Before we get started, I do want to note that Tahari Johnson has withdrawn the application for appointment as an associate member of the Board of Appeals.
Mr. Chair, I laud you on your decision how to approach this.
Thank you.
The last chair did the same thing.
Well, the last chair was very efficient. I'm trying to keep his efficiencies. So I request a motion to appoint the following individuals to the various boards and committees to the terms identified. Al Rogers to the at-large position on the Community Preservation Committee, term expiring June 30th, 2024. Kerry Reed, Janine LeBlanc, Jeffrey Barnes to the Conservation Commission, terms expiring June 30th, 2024. Patricia Swarta to the Council on Aging to a term expiring June 30th, 2024. Mike Rugan to the Historic Commission to a term expiring June 30th, 2024. Charles Wallace, Craig Gromley, Judith Patisi, Jane Goodman, Jacques Leduc, and Jean Can to the Marathon Committee at large with terms expiring June 30th, 2024. Olivia Sward and Robert Gilbert to the Sustainable Green Committee, terms expiring June 30th, 2024. Peter Lagoy to the Trail Coordination and Management Committee, term expiring June 30th, 2024. Eric Sonnet to the Upper Charles Trails Committee to a term expiring June 30th, 2024. And Craig Nation to the Woodville Historic District Commission with a term expiring June 30th, 2024. Would any members like to pull out one for a separate vote or discuss a specific appointment first?
No.
Okay, hearing none.
I would make the motion as read by the chair.
Second.
Okay, we already went through the discussion. All in favor?
Oh, can I just say?
Sure.
First of all, thank you to everybody. It seems this is super efficient, but it also doesn't give us an opportunity to appreciate some of these names have been on these volunteer rosters for years and decades. And I just wanted to give a shout out to a young person whose resume that I read, Olivia Sward, for that appointment. She is a young woman on a mission. She is really impressive and a high school student volunteering in this way, and I think that that's pretty extraordinary, actually.
Who is this?
I think that, I agree, that is pretty incredible, and you are correct in that, when we just jam through it like this, we really don't get a chance to appreciate everyone who's contributed their time and effort, and I do also want to say thank you. Go ahead.
I have a question on the the Cultural Council. It says that there are 13 members and they have one vacancy. However, they can have between 5 and 22 members. Do we have to vote to extend that to 16 members so that we can put all 3 people on?
I don't think that's on this one yet.
Oh, we're not there yet.
Next one, yeah.
Okay.
Never mind.
You're being too efficient.
We can talk about that in a moment.
We applaud that.
Okay, so we have a motion's been seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? No. Congratulations, it passes.
And thank you.
Okay, the board will now review the boards and committee vacancies that have contested seats, and we will take them up individually. Board of Appeals, there are 2 vacancies, 1 full member position and 1 associate member position. Mike Damasio is currently a full member and requesting reappointment, and Kevin K. Baxter has applied for appointment to the board.
I would say this is kind of a tough board, and I think it would be better to appoint the current full member to the full member spot and appoint the other applicant to the associate member spot so they can learn the role, and then become a full member when one opens up.
Is that your motion?
Well, it's discussion, but...
Well, discussion.
You can make the motion.
I agree.
So I would move to appoint Mike Damasio as a full member of the Board of Appeals to a term expiring 6/30/26.
And do you want to add Kevin Baxter to the
And
associate?
And I move to appoint Kevin Baxter as an associate member of the Board of Appeals to a term expiring 6/30/26.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none.
Oh, I would like to just say, I had the pleasure of working on the Board of Appeals many years ago. And Mike Damasio was on the board at that time. He's been serving for a very long time, and he's an excellent board member. We're lucky to have him like we are so many, and we welcome the new member as well, but I think we're really lucky to have Mike continue.
I mean, I think it's a good problem to have, that we have 2 people trying to volunteer for positions here, and I think we're fortunate that we have an associate position that we can fill as well. So, we have a motion. Has it been seconded?
It has, yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, passes unanimously. Congratulations. Cultural Council. There is 1 vacancy and 3 applicants, all of whom are new. There is no incumbent requesting a reappointment. We have Kathy Yang, Ekterina Nemova, and Nalicia Bowen.
This is where I was going to say. It says total number of members is 13. However, membership may be between 5 and 22. So if we extended the membership to 15 or 16, we could appoint all of these volunteers. Can we do that?
Well,
Or does the Cultural Council have to vote as well to do that?
is that something,
If you prefer to keep it a smaller number, it would be difficult to get a quorum.
would they need to vote to expand the number of people, though?
No, only the board.
Okay. Mr. Stetson, what do you think?
Well, on these boards, I do like to have an odd number of people, so there's no ties. There's, what do we have now? 13? And they could go to,
15. We could go to 15 and have 2.
Well, if we went with 3, then we have the even number.
I'm Switzerland on this one. I'm neutral.
I think we heard from Alana earlier that they would like to keep the number that they have, they'd like to keep, and I think it does get very hard and unwieldy, even though we're lucky to have people who want to volunteer. I would keep it at 13.
So I would note that the chair, Lana Cassidy, mentioned that they have another opening coming up this summer for someone moving, so that the second person could be added at that time. And Alicia Bowen has also applied for not one of the other open spots, the Youth Commission, so
Right.
we don't know yet. She'll get that one though.
Mr. Fernie, you have anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, I did not get a resume or an application from Ms. Bowen. Did we have one?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, didn't happen to be in mine, so.
It might have only been in once, Mary Jo. It might have only been in once, so it might have been in the Youth Commission slot.
So does anyone want to make a motion?
So I would make an motion to appoint Kathy Yang to the Cultural Council for a term expiring June 30th, 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Request a motion to appoint Kathy Yang to the Cultural Council to a term expiring June 30th, 2024.
We already made it, didn't we?
Did we? Oh, okay.
Do it again if you want.
It's good to have a former chair here to keep me in check. So,
And I just want to note that I do hope that the other two people that applied will get on the next time there's an opening, that they all look qualified.
So, I mean, I think that's important to note that, we are expecting a vacancy to open again, and again, this is a good problem to have too many people trying to apply, so keep coming. Okay, so how do we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
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 So I think I noticed in the packet, we have a lot of openings too on other boards and committees, so also keep,
There's some with no applicants, yeah.
Yeah.
we would, welcome people to keep looking at what's available.
So that one passed unanimously. We're going to move on to the Youth Commission.
You didn't do nothing. You did all in favor, you didn't do all opposed.
It was unanimous,
All right.
wasn't it?
You got it.
All right, any opposed? Hearing none. Okay, passes unanimously. Moving on to the Youth Commission. There are 3 vacancies and 4 applicants with no incumbent seeking appointment. We have Eva Bennett, Carly Grant, Kelly Karp, and Alicia Bowen. Board members, Mr. Dixon, do you have anything?
Right.
I noted that the chair emailed us this weekend to recommend Kelly Karp as one of the 3. And then I didn't know if they're here in the audience, if they might want to introduce themselves.
Yeah, is anyone, are we all here? I see Kelly.
Kelly's here.
Would you like to say a few words? Not at all.
Don't be nervous.
Hi. So thank you for considering my application. I just wanted to give you a little history as to why I wanted to join the Youth Commission. When my daughter was 13, she experienced a critical mental health crisis. It was terrifying, and as a parent, I felt alone and did not know where to turn for help for her, for my family. Resources were extremely difficult to find, and in many cases, cost prohibitive. I eventually left my job, and finding resources for my daughter and my family became my full-time focus. I realized that this was not feasible for most, and I vowed that once my daughter was in recovery, I would find a way to help others so that they did not have to go through the journey alone like we had. I'm happy to say, thank God, my daughter's 18 now, and with a lot of hard work, she's finally in a good place mentally. But we're still working through it day by day. And I believe the need for ongoing support even after recovery is critically important, not just for the person suffering, but for their loved ones as well. While I realize that mental health will not be the sole focus of the Commission, I believe that there's an enormous opportunity for the Commission to bring services and programming to Hopkinton that are both directly and indirectly able to affect the mental wellness of our youth and provide resources for their families. While I feel like I have a lot of professional skills that I could talk about, that I could bring to the table, truthfully, I feel as though my personal experiences and my passion to help others will be my biggest contribution to the board. And I would really like to have the opportunity to give back to the community in this way. So, thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Any board members, do you have any questions for Ms. Karp?
So over the last 6 or 7 years, I've worked with Kelly on different committees and some individual stuff, and I can tell you that Kelly is another one of these people in town that we're lucky to have. She's active. She sees it. She sinks her teeth into something. She follows it through. The fact that she has personal skin in the game, I think that will increase her passion on this board, and I would be, we would be lucky to have Kelly on the Youth Commission.
I've known Kelly for quite a long time, and I know some of her attributes, and I think that she would be a welcome member on the Youth Commission.
Ms. Ritterbusch?
Yeah, I agree. I've known Kelly when she was on the planning board with me, and the chair recommended her, so I think she should definitely be one of the three. I don't know, are the other candidates on the Zoom and would like to introduce themselves too?
I do know that
No.
Eva Bennett was unable to be here tonight, but she did submit a request, and I
Yeah.
did speak with her today, and very bright and energetic high school student, involved in the diversity club and other initiatives. Very interested in serving on the committee.
Excellent.
The bringing youthful
Yeah,
perspective.
Muriel Kramer, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Kelly and I have been personal friends for quite some time, and she ran my first campaign when I said, I don't have time to run. But that's not why I am so powerfully moved that you are here, and you will certainly have my first vote for a slot on the Youth Commission. It is critical that we normalize mental health, and it's powerful that you share your story, and I am delighted to know that it has turned out so well. I saw your daughter in the parade, and she is killing it, right? She's just crushing the game. So I appreciate that you're here, not because your professional capabilities and your energy and your focus and the way you've dedicated yourself to the town, but that you are so openly advocating for mental health to be part of the conversation on the Youth Commission is vital, and I really appreciate it.
And I also want to say, I mean, I think your own personal experience is critical. I can see the passion. I can see that you're here and you want to help, and it's nothing like having gone through it to want to step up and prevent others from having to go through it as well. So I'm in support of your appointment. So would somebody like to make a motion?
A little more discussion.
Sure.
Noticed that Ava Bennett is a high school student, and there are high school members of the Youth Commission, and we could also appoint her to a full member. There's no restriction to appointing her as a full member, but it seems like if she were a high school member, then we could appoint everyone who applied tonight. So that's tough.
Do we
I
have
think.
2 high school students then? Is Nalisha also a high school student?
No, she's a mom.
She's a mom. Okay, I was confused. All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Kamala,
But what is the
do we have
procedure?
that opening?
What is the procedure for appointing the high school student? Does the Youth
Yeah.
Commission appoint them themselves? Or,
Sorry, the question is, what is the procedure for
Appointing the youth position.
A high school student. So Eva Bennett is a high school student,
Correct.
and
she could either be a full member, or she could be the high school student member.
That is also correct. She can either be a full member or be part of the high school representatives who are non-voting. However, I believe, based on the memo that she sent to the board, she's interested in becoming a full member.
Full member.
Yeah.
So I think that I laud Eva Bennett as a high school student for wanting to be more than just part of the non-voting member, non-voting group. And I also love that she went above and beyond, and if she wasn't going to be here, she sent us quite a synopsis of why she wants to be on the Youth Commission. So I would be inclined to put Eva Bennett on as a voting member on the Youth Commission.
I tend to agree. Having read through her, the note that she'd sent to the board, she seems very passionate, and I would support Eva.
Just leaves me the last because I don't know who not to.
Yeah, I know. It's
They all seem like they would be good. So.
It's a good problem to have.
I also want to add that I agree with you, but there's a bigger piece for me. We have a couple high schoolers that have stepped up into, asking for adult responsibilities, and that feels like an amazing thing that is happening, and that they've obviously been engaged for a long time, and I really want to support Eva. And and she's asked for this position, and it looks like she's qualified, and I just want to consider her on her merits. That said, everybody is qualified, everybody is volunteering to put their energies forward. It's always hard to not be able to place everybody. Please look at the openings that are available and find another spot if you're eager to serve the town. We really want to find a spot for you if you don't get appointed tonight. I also want to say that I would like to advocate for Carly Grant. She's been a really active member in town, and she's a mom of a bunch of young kids, very invested, and I think that she brings a really needed energy and focus to the town. She's been instrumental in organizing some social justice events and some social justice work, and I think that is critical on the Youth Commission as well. So I'm just calling it that my 3 votes go to Carly, Kelly, and Eva. Then that would be the motion I would make to appoint those 3.
Great.
To a term ending 6/30/2024, just to say it the right way.
Okay, thank you. I mean, I can't agree with you more in that, this is a great problem to have, that there are 4 people applying for the 3 positions, and, keep coming. There will be other positions opening, and there are other open positions, so whomever is not appointed, please apply for the other positions. So we have a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Abstentions? Hearing none. Passes unanimously. Community updates. Christina Hannigan. Is she here? She is here remotely. Christina Hannigan will review activities related to the Juneteenth holiday, Saturday, June 19th. Ben, can you liven Christina up?
Thanks for having me. Is it possible to also unmute my my fellow Representative Lynn Conti? She's going to help me with the slides.
Okay, we can barely hear you.
Lynn Canty, they'd like to unmute 2 people, but you are a little hard to hear, Christina.
Christina,
I'm also having some trouble hearing you. I asked if it's possible to unmute Lynn Conti, who's going to help me with the slides. Thank you.
I'm here.
Great.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, take it away.
So we're here to talk a little bit about Juneteenth, and what the Hopkinton Freedom Team has planned. We know one of the great American holidays is July 4th, which we've all enjoyed partaking in, and that marks the birth of our nation. One of the little-known holidays is Juneteenth, which came as a result of the Emancipation Proclamation freeing the slaves on January 1st, 1863. However, in Texas, there were a group of slaves that were not freed until June 19th, 1865. So to celebrate the end of slavery for all Africans in America, Juneteenth became a day of celebration. Now, this year will mark the first year that Massachusetts recognizes Juneteenth as a holiday. And there's also a really strong push to make it a federal holiday. So Hopkinton Freedom Team would like to recognize not only Juneteenth, but just take it as an opportunity to reflect on what freedom means to us in this country and just racial injustice in general. So we'd like to have a Juneteenth flag fly from June 19th to July 4th. And we have activities planned, which Christina will talk a little bit more about, to educate the community and to make it an interactive learning experience for us all in between the time from June 19th to July 4th. I'll let Christina take it from there.
Thank you, Lynn. Is it possible to advance the slides to slide 5, please? So the activities we have planned between Juneteenth and Independence Day is some educational posts and calls to action on social media to encourage people to reflect on freedom. And the 16 days between the two holidays are also an opportunity to inspire a more honest conversation about our nation's complicated past and present experience with racial injustice. Next slide, please. This is the schedule that we're proposing. So as you can see, we've decomposed or deconstructed Hopkinton into 9 themes. So history, oppression, pride, kindness, identity and inclusion, nationality, the Constitution, origins, and then finally National Independence Day. We plan to raise the flag. Like Lynn said, we're gonna have an online story time, an online craft. We plan to post every day on social media, either with an educational post or a call to action. And the library has also partnered with us. They've created book displays, reading lists, Pinterest boards, and they're incentivizing the children to participate through their summer reading programs. And we're very grateful to them. Next slide, please. To tie all the events together, there's going to be 2 things. There's going to be the Juneteenth flag flying below the American flag in front of Town Hall. And we're also going to have the Hopkinton lights up as one sign that the South Asian Circle of Hopkinton put together. And every 2 days, it's going to light up in a different color that matches the letter that we're talking about. Next slide, please. Because many of us are not too familiar with the Juneteenth flag, we thought we'd go over some of its symbolism. So first, the star. So it represents Texas, the Lone Star State, where the last remaining enslaved people learned that they were free. The star is also a metaphor for all African Americans in each of the 50 states. The nova, which is the cloud burst that goes around the star, it represents a new beginning for the African Americans of Galveston and throughout the United States. Next slide, please. The arc that divides the flag is again another symbol of hope. The curve that extends across the width of the flag represents a new horizon and reveals the opportunities and promise that lay ahead for Black Americans. The colors, red, white, and blue color scheme is the same as the American flag. This serves as a reminder that enslaved people and their descendants were and are Americans. And the date, June 19th, 1865, was added in 2006 to commemorate the exact date enslaved people in Galveston learned about the Emancipation Proclamation.
Christina, can I just add one other little tidbit? Our Hopkinton community, our 4th and 5th graders, or actually our 5th graders, just learned about Juneteenth last week. So it's also another way to show more of a connection to what they're learning in schools and show that our town and our communities are in sync.
Thank you, Lynn. So to close, we want to thank the Select Board for giving us permission to fly the Juneteenth flag from June 19th to July 4th in front of Town Hall, below the American flag. We're also grateful to Elaine Lazarus and Matt Reed for taking care of the logistics, and to Hopkinton Youth and Family Services for purchasing the flag. We hope that the community will take advantage of this opportunity to learn and take action. And we thank you for this opportunity to present our activities. And in closing, we'd like to ask the Select Board, when we raise this flag, if it's possible to have the Select Board represented in support of this project, and perhaps somebody would be willing to make a statement.
Thank you. Mr. Khumalo, as far as the flag being hung, we don't need to approve that, do we?
There is no need for a board vote.
There's no need for, okay, great.
We discussed at the last meeting too,
Yeah.
and had general agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
fantastic. And as far as the select board, I mean, I think that's a fantastic idea.
I would love to attend.
I would love
When
to
are
attend.
we hoping to raise the flag?
So details are coming together at the last minute. We're still waiting for this flag, and I learned today that the town offices are closed on Friday to commemorate Juneteenth, which is wonderful. So it looks like the flag, Matt Reed was planning to fly it on the Thursday, which is the 17th, I believe. So if the flag gets here in time, that is the plan, but we might have to be flexible depending on when we receive it.
Excellent. Well, if you could just coordinate through the town manager's office, I know myself, I'd be happy to attend.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
I just, if I could, Mr. Chair, I just want to thank everybody who made this possible. I know that a lot of people got engaged, really engaged in the conversation on racial equity just over a year ago, and it's really exciting to see an event like this coming forward that brings so many different pieces of the community together, different priorities and people together. And actually celebrating, and I know that for many, it's an opportunity to get educated on a piece of our history that we aren't necessarily or haven't been as aware of, and I really appreciate everybody's investment and involvement in making this happen.
I concur wholeheartedly. I mean, this is it's something I'm learning about as an adult. I went through the education system in Massachusetts, and how did I not know this? So I'm glad that this is being brought to our attention, so our youth and people can learn. I think it's a fantastic opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Freya Proudman will review a Pride Parade event that is scheduled for June 26th at the high school. Ben, can you liven up Freya?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Take it away.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity to join and speak. I'm Freya Proudman of 2 Falcon Ridge Drive. I'm a member of the Hopkinton Freedom Team like Lynn and Christina, although I don't have a beautiful PowerPoint like they do. I'm also the lead organizer behind Hopkinton's upcoming Pride Parade. So the Hopkinton Freedom Team, in collaboration with the Hopkinton Youth Commission, are so proud to be hosting Hopkinton's first LGBTQIA+ Pride Parade on Saturday, June 26th at 2 p.m. on the HHS outdoor track. So I'm just here to supply some additional information about the parade and to extend the very warm welcome to all of you and our community. It's the LGBTQIA+ Pride Parade, which is a mouthful of an acronym, but it is the most inclusive acronym. It stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, asexual, and the plus denotes all other subcommunities. The reason we use all the letters is because we recognize that the experiences of different people in this community can be very different. The experiences of a bisexual person can be very different from those of a transgender person. Also, because this is a community where visibility is so critical and often denied, mentioning all of these letters is part of affording the much needed visibility to these marginalized subcommunities. So what are Pride Parades? What can we expect from this? Pride Parades are fun. They are upbeat gatherings centered around celebration, the celebration of LGBTQIA+ people for who they are. These are events that work to promote greater understanding and acceptance of LGBTQIA+ people, along with highlighting their visibility, which serves to reaffirm them as equally present and integral members of our community. And Pride Parades and events, they celebrate the 2 most important things we have, people and love. It's amazing, absolutely amazing, and I can't believe it's happening, but I'm so pleased that we have this very special opportunity to come together on Saturday, June 26th. And it's so important to our LGBTQIA+ community, especially our youth, to see that they aren't alone, that there are people like them, and that there's so many allies in our community. I really can't understate the importance of having good allies. I am a queer person myself, and I still remember the first time I got to attend a Pride Parade. I was 13, And Pride Parades have been a massive part of my own mental health and self-acceptance, exposure to others who are like me, and connecting me with resources where I could get more support. I am so pleased that we can bring this to our town and to our youth. A little more about the parade, because some people might have some questions. The parade takes place entirely on the high school track. It constitutes 3 loops of the outdoor track. So it's really more of a kind of get together to do a pride walk around the track 3 times rather than a traditional parade per se. When people arrive, we'll have some welcoming remarks, some speeches, and the walking of the event, and then we'll have some closing remarks. For more information on the event schedule, the event map, or any other frequently asked questions, or the official Hopkinton Pride Spotify playlist, which I have to admit is really, really good, please see our Freedom Team website at hopkinsonfreedomteam.org. We are also currently recruiting Hopkinton Town organizations to walk in the parade. I've personally tried to contact everybody I could think of, but if your organization is interested in walking, you're absolutely invited. Please just let us know. You can reach out to myself. I'm proudmanfreya@gmail.com, or you can also find me on the Freedom Team website or any of our Facebook pages, and I can provide you more information about how to register your organization. We are also able to accommodate some in-person spectators, which is super exciting. Pre-registration is required just so we can monitor the number of people entering and exiting the facility, but tickets are free and they're available on our Eventbrite page, which you can find very easily by searching Hopkinson's first LGBTQIA+ Pride Parade, or you can find the ticket link on our Freedom Team website or Facebook page. We also have a very beautiful flyer that some of you might have seen, designed by the lovely Smitha Ram, who does everything for the Freedom Team. She's a beautiful artist, so I had to give her a shout out. The event will last about 1 hour. It's completely family friendly, and it will just be so wholesome, fun, and celebratory. We even have some very special guests, including Representative Carolyn Dykema and Congressman Jake Auchincloss, who will be in attendance and giving some words as well. So this will be a great event for our town, and the event will be filmed and broadcasted live on HCAM as well. So thank you so much to everyone who's made this happen, and all their support, all the organizations who've helped: Youth Commission, Hopkinton Public Schools, the Facilities Department, Police and Fire, Youth and Family Services, the list goes on. Thank you so much for having me today. I really hope to see you all there. Happy Pride Month, and if you have any additional questions, please feel free to get in touch with me or the Freedom Team or the Youth Commission. We're happy to help.
Thank you, Freya. Thank you. Seeing your smile and how excited you are is it's addictive. I can't wait for it. Congratulations to the Freedom Team for all your work, and looking forward to a wonderful event.
Thank you so much. You've worked really hard on this, and I think everyone's going to enjoy it. Thank you.
I just want to say, Freya, so thank you so much. I can't wait. This will be my first Pride Parade. I suppose I wish I had been to one before. But I'm super excited to be there. I'm going to be there with 2 of my children. They'll be spectators. They're registered. And we've bought our T-shirts. But mostly I wanted to thank you so much for sharing your personal investment and personal experience. Your enthusiasm and the way you have organized this is amazing, and the way you invited people in and helped us understand why it's so important is amazing. But it's always special when someone feels that they're able to share their own personal experience, their own personal investment. So it makes it extra special, and I know that this is so meaningful, and it's meaningful to young people and people of all ages that we will never know, right? Some people will know why it's so meaningful, but some people we won't ever know why this was important. And I so appreciate that you've organized our first, and it won't be our last.
Mr. Tedstone or Mr. Burnett? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Freya.
Thank you so much.
A wonderful presentation. All right, moving forward. The Board Municipal Bond Anticipation Notes approval. The Board will consider approving bond anticipation notes to support. Sorry, went out of order. The Public Library Strategic Plan presentation. Representatives of the Library Friends Foundation and trustees will join Director Heather Backman to speak about the Library Strategic Plan.
I think you have slides.
Forget social distancing, right? That all ended. All right, good evening. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to share with you about the library's new strategic plan. I'm going to talk, and I have representatives from the trustees, friends, and foundation here who are also going to share their contributions to the plan. I think we have slides. I'm hoping we have slides. I sent in slides.
Nope.
But if not, okay, great, I'll just talk.
They were in the packet.
So we do have a new strategic plan which will cover the next 5 years, and I'm going to talk at a very high level and fairly rapidly because we have 4 to 5 people and 10 minutes of your time. The plan was generated based on community input. We did a community survey which got nearly 400 responses, and we ran 4 focus groups. So everything that we determined in terms of priorities, mission, and our directions for the next 5 years really came out of what we heard Hopkinton say it wanted and what we heard Hopkinton say it valued. So I have with me nice printed copies that I will be able to hand to each of you at the end. So I'm going to, just touch on the high points, and for anybody watching, or if you want more information as well, you can find the complete plan, our complete FY22 action plan, and if you really want to watch me talk about this for 40 minutes, a presentation that I gave on video, all on our website at hopkintonlibrary.org/strategicplan.asp. So we have a new mission statement, which is that we inspire exploration, discovery, and engagement as we enrich and strengthen the social network of our diverse community. And the library will pursue that mission through 5 key strategic priority areas over the next 5 years. And those are connecting our community, providing access to education, arts, culture, and knowledge, creating an inclusive, welcoming, and safe environment for all, striving to deliver an exceptional customer-focused user experience, and stewarding and obtaining the resources necessary to accomplish those strategic priorities. It's a little bit late on a Tuesday. For each of those priority areas, we identified 3 to 5 sort of strategic directions, areas of work that the library will work within to move forward. And again, those are all laid out in the plan. Each year, staff will also sit down and come up with the specific initiatives and projects that the library will undertake in the coming year to carry forward the work of the library under the plan and do better and better to serve the community. As I said, our fiscal 22 action plan, which is that list of projects and initiatives, is on our website. And again, I'm not going to get into the details because there's quite a lot of them, but very broadly, the themes that are in the plan for this coming year in terms of the goals the library will pursue involve resuming normal full services post-COVID, finding some ways to hopefully continue with some of the services launched during COVID that were popular, launching or expanding upon special areas of the collections, and you'll hear a little bit of that later on as well. Creating some more detailed plans to guide specific areas of operations under the new strategic plan. So marketing plans, staffing plans, technology plans, and so on and so forth. And then looking at the work that staff is already doing and modifying it or improving upon it to bring it even more in line with the community's needs and interests and to even better reflect the needs and diversity of the community. So again, very high level. We have a short period of time here. I'm happy to answer questions at the end, or you can go to hopkintonlibrary.org/strategicplan.asp and see all the information laid out there. Thank you very much.
Excellent, thank you.
To Susan Porter from the trustees to Doug.
First, I want to thank Heather and her staff for creating this flexible and innovative strategic plan and action plan. The trustees will continue with our advocacy for the library in every way we can possibly, and will assist our other organizations, the Friends and the Foundation, in any way possible. We continue to do our legally appointed oversight of the library and the director, and will just support every piece of the action plan and the strategic plan. Again, Heather and her staff have done an amazing job with this, and I'm going to see you to these people with the money.
Okay, well, Friends of the Library was delighted with this strategic plan because it fit in very well with things that we had been discussing. And our plans that were waylaid by COVID were to do a couple of things that fit in perfectly well with what the strategic plan presents. First of all, we're a group that wants very much to support staff at all times, and one of the ways in which we are wanting to support them was to use some of the grant money that we received from the Middlesex Bank Charitable Foundation. We have set aside for professional development for the staff, so we thought that was a really good way to use some of that money. Secondly, we had been talking about something to address the diverse population that we have now, and what we decided to do was to initiate a program, which we hopefully will be doing this next winter season, of having conversation groups for people for whom English is a second language. It's a way of bringing them into the library and getting to know them, getting them relaxed and conversing in English as best they can, and also it may be a new source of members for us, which we thought would be very nice. The other thing that we had talked about doing was in the area of education. We'd like to, the library puts on wonderful programs all the time, and rather than compete with them, we thought that what we should do as a group is to start a program where we would have a lecture series each winter season on a specific topic. And the first topic that we came up was music, and we had already signed up some professors from local colleges to come talk about various types of music as sort of almost a continuing education type of lecture. And we are very anxious to get that going also. So those are the things that we're doing that fit in very well. We were surprised by Heather's announcement, of course, as we all were. And we certainly do wish her well as she moves on, but I do want to state publicly that as a group we'd like very much to be involved with the selection process as you go forward, if we can help with gathering input, if we can offer input ourselves, if there's anything else that we can do, we're available to you.
Hi everyone, good evening, good to see you all. As some of you know, I'm Laura Barrett, this is my HBO colleague Katie Davenport, and we are pleased to talk to you tonight. We're very pleased with the strategic plan. As you know, HBLF was kicked off 10 years ago. Initially, our goal was to advocate for and raise money for a new library. And as you know, that all was we were able to reach those goals and have our new library open in 2017. And at that time, we also were able to finish our fundraising goal of raising $1 million for the library. And over the course of the 3 years of FY 18, 19, and 20, we did finish paying over the $1 million to the library, which was great. It was used for the debt service for the library. So for the first couple of years, the town didn't even have to pay for debt service for the library. That was all privately used funds. With the opening of the new library, we have a very strong group and we have very strong support in the community. We changed our mission to assist the library in any way that we can. So our mission now is really to find some things, sometimes they're niche, sometimes they're bigger, sometimes they're just unique projects or items for the library that there's no other funding source for. So over the last couple of years, we've contributed over $10,000. We funded a new Lucky Day book collection, which was popular items that would be there on the shelf for people when they walk into the library. We paid for the beautiful frame for the beautiful handmade quilt that was made to commemorate library patrons and library supporters that hangs in the lower level of the library. Last year we purchased a new 3D printer during the pandemic. And during the pandemic it was actually used to make PPE for local first responders. Volunteers used it while the library was closed, and it is now being brought back to the library and will be coming online sometime later this year. And also, we funded the strategic plan process. We're very invested in our library, very invested in seeing our library grow and improve and meet the needs of the community. This year, again, we want to support the action plans for the library, and many of those, we've talked about many of those and how HBLF can meet those. Everything from making sure more people come into the library, to reaching more people, to having more service and more materials available. And what we have decided to do as a board is that in honor of our 10th anniversary, as an organization, we're going to contribute $10,000 to the library to start a collection of a library of things. And I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Katie Davenport, to tell you about the library of things. First, I just do want to thank you all for, and note that our fundraising during the pandemic was changed. We did have to cancel our large fundraiser, but we did have a marathon runner. And over the last 10 years, we've raised more than $100,000 of money for the town, going right back to the town through our marathon charitable bid program. And our runner last year raised $15,000. So we still had a great year despite the pandemic. And we are so happy that we have him back again this year. So thank you. And I do hope that you really understand that those bids are so valuable to the community. And we thank you and we support you for them. And with that, Katie can tell you about the library things.
We are incredibly excited to launch this Library of Things for the town of Hopkinton. So what is a Library of Things? It's a non-traditional collection of physical items that patrons can borrow from the library. And these Library of Things have been incredibly popular at libraries throughout the state and through the nation. And usually the philosophy is an item that you might use once or twice a year, but that you don't want to buy, or a try before you buy type of item. So what have other libraries done? Technology. Technology has been huge in Library of Things. Laptops, Chromebooks, gaming systems, GoPros, cameras. Other libraries have done instruments, and we've been discussing the possibility of having a collection of ukuleles for our patrons to possibly borrow. Other libraries have done games and puzzles. Newton Public Libraries, they have 120 puzzles. You can't get them from the library. They are always out in circulation. Some libraries do more non-traditional things like outdoor games, lawn games, movie projectors. Some libraries do household items, such as a tool that you might know how to buy. You want to use it once, you go to your library, you borrow it for a couple weeks, and you bring it back. And these items can be led for a week, 2 weeks. The library will decide on how to organize and send out these items to our community. And really, the library is limited by creativity and the space to store them. Some libraries have paddleboards that they loan out, or other larger items. So we're very excited that the library is going to send out a survey in the coming weeks to the community to provide feedback as to what the community would like to see in its library of things for the town of Hopkinton.
And we're very excited. We think this will help bring more patrons in and reach new patrons and achieve a lot of the goals with the strategic plan lays out. And obviously, continue collaborating with our fellow library groups. So thank you for having us tonight.
Thank you for coming. This is incredible. Everything I'm hearing is just further advancement of our library. It just seems like it just keeps on growing in the right direction. And Library of Things, this is incredible. I'd never even known this was even possible. So thank you very, very much. Board members, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I will speak historically. You've come a long way from when Mrs. Cumlin and Mrs. Ellsworth were slinging books and yelling at us for talking and things like that. So it's not your grandmother's library anymore. You guys have done a great job, and seeing Mrs. Mezet and Mr. Polnick there, I'd not be very well versed to speak against any of this. So these guys are my yeah. So thank you guys very much.
Mr. Fagan?
I have used the library since my kids went to Story Hour during the week. We went all the time and enjoyed it very much. And I just have watched it grow and grow and grow. And for a while, I didn't have a library card, and I just got one not a year or so ago. And I'm very much enjoying it, and I love it. It's a beautiful library.
I think I still have tons of space on my one from high school. Can I still use that one? Tons of space left.
Probably all fine.
Say thank you for presenting the strategic plan and putting it in our packet, and I really appreciate that you're trying to grow and change with the times and find new innovative things to do. And we're definitely going to miss Heather when she's gone, so that's going to be a big void to fill. But thanks for coming to share it with us, and I'm glad it's important to do strategic plans so that you know where you're going in the future.
Commissioner Kramer?
Yeah, no, so first, the thought that jumps to my mind is that I want to thank Heather for taking the library to its next level, and all the support players too, right? It doesn't happen alone, but you've been really important to this town and really important to the library, and we will miss you. And we do so appreciate you leaving us with this really terrific strategic plan. The Library of Things is just like next level, so fun. I can remember when I was a young mom, we actually were able to borrow art for the house in the library where I lived. And it just a thought occurred to me that even like local artists might really appreciate an opportunity to have their art shown and borrowed and enjoyed in people's homes. But I am astonished at the ways people come up with really wonderful new initiatives, and really appreciate the support that over time that everybody has provided to our library. It's really one of the most vital resources in town. I know in big cities they use libraries because they're open to everybody to provide social services to. It's really it's an amazing center for the town, and we appreciate you.
Thank you very much. You've come a long way. Okay. Oh, yes, please.
Oh, thanks. I want to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Should we tell? So, I noticed Mike Ruan's here. We did appoint you to your spot on the commission.
Sorry, I had a conflict.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Do you have any questions? Or?
No.
We're past that point. All right, moving on. The municipal bond anticipation notes approval. The board will consider approving bond anticipation notes to support $5,297,502 approved for capital projects at the 2019 and 2021 annual town meetings. Mr. Kamala?
Mr. Chair, I need to say a couple of things before Tim comes in. One being that we have a fabulous team downstairs. You may not see them tonight here that work on our borrowing and bonding process. Chris Heyman, he's the treasurer. Diane Hendrickson is the assistant in the office. And they do a great job getting us ready for these presentations. The second issue is I also want to commend the finance team for successfully implementing this process where opportunities arise, we go for a bond anticipation note so that in the future we can then transition that to a general obligation bond. The idea being getting the rates that are most advantageous for this community. And the rate that is being presented tonight is, in my 32-year history in local government, I would say unheard of.
In a good way.
Yes, in a good way. Yeah. And with that, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Select Board, I'm here tonight on behalf of Chris Hamons, who's on well-deserved vacation, and he should get a vacation after getting us this bond deal. I'm presenting a short-term borrowing for $5,297,502 to support 5 capital projects listed in the Treasurer's memo on page 107 of your packet. The low bidder this time was Jeffries LLC, a New York investment bank. The notes will be due payable by us on June 24th, 2022. We are paying a net effective interest rate of 0.228%. The interest cost to borrow $5.3 million for a year will be $12,078.31. The script for approval of the borrowings is on page 125 of the meeting package. I have the actual physical copies there. and they are ready for signature by you, Mr. Chairman, as the clerk of the Select Board after the meeting, and by all the members to move forward on this borrowing.
Great job.
That's incredible.
Great job by Chris and Diane.
Yeah,
That's
by all.
incredible. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm floored.
I just want to say, we have used Jeffries before in bonding, and they've been very adequate and successful, so I don't have any problem with using Jeffries again.
Great. Super.
I was just going to say, for the public's benefit, the 5 projects are the ladder truck that we voted for in 2019, the police station roof in 2021, the school HVAC upgrade in 2021, the municipal parking lot that we voted in 2019, and the Hopkinton Middle School roof replacement that we voted. And so it's excellent work, and I think these are all important projects.
Great, thank you.
I don't think you can beat the rate.
If we could all refinance at that rate, we'd all be very happy.
Yeah, sure would.
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve the sale of $5,297,501, 1.50% general obligation bond anticipation notes, in parentheses, the notes, of the town dated June 24, 21, payable June 24th, 2022 to Jeffries LLC at par and accrued interest, if any, plus a premium of $67,384.21. Further voted that in connection with the marketing and sale of the notes, the preparation and distribution of the notice of sale and preliminary official statement dated June 3, 2021, and a final official statement dated June 10, 2021, each in such form may be approved by the town treasurer and be hereby ratified, confirmed, approved, and adopted. Further voted that the town treasurer and the select board be and hereby are authorized to execute and deliver a continuing disclosure undertaking in compliance with SEC Rule 15, Chapter 2-12, in such form as may be approved by bond counsel to the town, which undertaking shall be incorporated by reference in the notes for the benefit of the holders of the notes from time to time. Further voted, thought I got away from this. That we authorize and direct the town treasurer to establish post-issuance federal tax compliance procedures and continuing disclosures procedures in such forms as the town treasurer and bond counsel deem sufficient, or if such procedures are currently in place, to review and update said procedures in order to monitor and maintain the tax-exempt status of the boards and to comply with relevant securities law. Further voted that any certificates or documents related to the notes, collectively the documents, may be executed in several counterparts, each of which shall be regarded as an original, and all of which shall constitute one and the same document. Delivery of an executed counterpart of signature page to a document by electronic mail in a PDF file or by other electronic transmission shall be as effective as delivery of a manual executed counterpart signature page to such document, and electronic signatures on any of the documents shall be deemed original signatures for the purposes of the documents, and all matters relating thereto, having the same legal effect as original signatures. Further voted that each member of the select board, the town clerk, the town treasurer be and hereby are authorized to take any and all such actions and to execute and deliver such certificates, receipts, or other documents as may be determined by them or any of them to be necessary or convenient to carry into effect the provisions of the foregoing votes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion, it's been seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Abstained? Passes unanimously.
Mr. O'Leary, great job. Work on a better rate for next year, please.
You couldn't get that one with longer term?
If you could do that, you would be clearly outstanding.
Incredible. That's incredible.
Maybe possible.
All right, moving along. Water and sewer rates. Our packet included recommendations on the rate studies. Mr. Paulo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Let me begin by listing some names Judy Regan, Kim Benetich. I can assure you that without their efforts, the billing process, the answers to the tough questions from our water and sewer customers would not be answered. And on the ground, we have Matt Gogan, Jack Fennell, Sean McDonald, Dan Bates, Carl Richard, Jeff Pine, and Al Lombardi. These are names and individuals you may not see when we make these presentations. I want to present to you that the work you're going to hear tonight would not be possible without their efforts. So thank you to that team, John. Thank you. I also like to begin by confirming for the Select Board and the viewers at home that 100% of expenses for town water and sewer services are paid for by user fees, with no current subsidy from property taxes or other general revenue sources. The meeting packet shared with you and the public contains a recommendation for a 6.5% rate increase for the water enterprise and a 2% rate increase for the sewer enterprise. The rate adjustments meet near-term needs, but I would also like to briefly address the long-term situation. With respect to the water enterprise, as you know, Hopkinton relies totally on groundwater extracted through wells, and the town is frequently close to or at capacity of those wells to provide sufficient water. The town continues to face supply challenges, including Water Management Act permit conditions, periodic droughts, and demand from additional customers. On the demand side, water conservation remains a promising but elusive objective of the town's overall water strategy. As the town seeks to meet growing demand due to growth and attract more life science firms to the South Street area, we can reasonably expect those challenges to increase over time. In addition, water quality standards continue to evolve, and higher standards for groundwater filtration and treatment are also factors that complicate Hopkinton's long-term path for a safe, reliable water supply. To address these challenges, the town may invest in additional well production, water filtration, and treatment facilities. That's one option. Secondly, or connect to the MWRA, purchasing water that is filtered and treated by a regional utility. Or thirdly, pursue some combination of these two approaches. With respect to the sewer enterprise, Hopkinton relies heavily on a treatment agreement with Westboro on the one hand and Milford on the other. The intermunicipal agreement for the latter, meaning Milford, has expired, and the town's efforts to execute a bridge agreement have stalled. While the town has not sent any outflows to Milford in the last 2 years by design, I should underscore that by design, the Milford treatment option remains important. If industrial activity on South Street picks up significantly, either Milford or increasing treatment capacity at Fruit Street will need to be examined. This issue will require careful attention in the coming months. I would like to take this opportunity to let the Select Board and the community know that the town will be launching a detailed public dialogue on the 50-year viability of the water and sewer enterprises, with specific attention to how those critical services will support our growing community. As a final matter, at tonight's hearing, the Select Board will consider extending a sewer bill credit of up to $200 a year for residents who are granted property tax exemptions by the Hopkinton Board of Assessors. If approved, this would be the third year of a program that grants sewer fee relief to a few dozen qualifying disabled veterans, lower income seniors, and others who receive property tax exemptions. Getting back to the specifics of tonight's near-term rate recommendation for the coming year, DPW Director, your John Westerling, and CFO Tim O'Leary will provide additional information on both recommendations. With your permission, Mr. Chair, John Westerling.
So, point of order, do we have to open the public hearing on the water rates? Or?
Is it a public hearing?
Is this a public hearing?
It is not.
It is not a formal public hearing, and therefore...
There is something on the agenda that says public hearing.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, but it's not a formal hearing?
Yeah, it's not a formal hearing.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Kamalo, through the chair. I'd like to thank the team that assisted with the development of the rates that you're going to be recommending this evening. Mr. Kamalo, Mr. O'Leary, Mr. Sweeney, and we can't forget Mr. Carty, the water and sewer manager, who couldn't be here this evening, and Matt Abrahams from the Abrahams Group, who could also not be here this evening. Tonight we're setting the water and sewer rates for FY22. Our operational budgets, capital budgets, and ratepayer considerations drive those rates. On the water side, operationally, the DPW provides clean, potable water to over 4,000 customers. Last year, we provided over 413 million gallons of water, of which approximately 150 million gallons were purchased through our intermunicipal agreement with the town of Ashland. On the capital side, this year's town meeting authorized $40,000 for the cleaning of the Aprilla Farm wells to improve the amount of water coming from the wells and the water quality. $280,000 for the replacement of 900 feet of cast iron water main serving Woody Island Road. $195,000 for the next phase of approval of a Pratt Farm well field. And $300,000 for the installation of a chlorine injection system at the Grove Street tanks to improve water quality. We face many challenges in the years ahead that will drive our capital plan. The number of water customers has increased by 23% over the last 6 years, and our own sources cannot keep up with the system demands, especially when impacted by the effects of climate change. Our source in Ashland is also impacted by climate change and cannot provide us the necessary water when we need it the most. We're discovering increasing levels of manganese in our wells, which have to be filtered out. DEP requires us to take action to address the older tank at Grove Street, and the Water Management Act permitting process is imposing limitations on our ability to pump sufficient water from our own sources. There are many difficult decisions that must be made. Do we explore new sources of water and build our own filtration plants? Do we consider a connection with the MWRA, or is the solution a combination of both of those? On the sewer side, operationally, the division transports and treats nearly 120 million gallons of wastewater per year from approximately 1,800 customers. Wastewater can flow to Westboro, Fruit Street, or Milford for treatment. Last year, we pumped over 97 million gallons of wastewater to Westboro and over 19 million gallons of water to Fruit Street. We were able to manage our wastewater flows last year, and we did not send any wastewater to Milford. That Fruit Street plant was built to treat 100,000 gallons per day, but it can be expanded to treat up to 350,000 gallons per day. On the capital side, this year's town meeting authorized $80,000 for the next phase of sewer system investigation to discover any sources of inflow and infiltration, and $53,000 for the replacement of a sewer maintenance truck. The sewer division faces challenges that will impact future budgets. Namely, our intermunicipal agreement with Milford expired in February of this year, and we're attempting to negotiate terms of a new intermunicipal agreement. We're also watching developments along South Street. New businesses are indeed good for the community, but big water and sewer users will force us to send wastewater to Milford at much higher treatment costs. Finally, the sewer system was built and not every household connected into the system. There are some 175 households that did not connect into the system. And that means that we have high capital costs with a low revenue stream to cover those costs. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, for the water enterprise, the recommendation in the memo on page 128 of your packet tonight is for a 6.5% rate increase, which would raise the annual water bill for an average residential user from $269 to $287 a year, an increase of $18. This is the level of rate increase for FY 2022 that was projected at last year's rate hearing. The 6.5% rate adjustment, along with similar increases over the next several years, would be required to support operations, to pay for new capital costs that are projected, and to maintain a buffer in the retained earnings account for the water enterprise of at least 15% of annual operating costs, which is our target. For FY 23, the recommended rate increase may be higher or lower than the 6.5% we're signaling tonight, based largely on the final plan and town meeting's final decision on repairing or replacing the second water tank at Grove Street that Mr. Westerling recommended. At this time, our rate projections are based on a $2.5 million estimated cost for that Grove Street tank replacement. For an enterprise that is expected to issue only about $1.7 million in user bills this year, the $2.5 million capital cost has a big impact on rates, and you're seeing that impact in the 6.5% rate increase adjusted tonight. For the sewer enterprise, the recommendation is for a 2% rate increase, which would raise the annual sewer bill for the average residential user with a $921 bill by $18. This is the level of rate increase for FY 2022 that was projected last year during rate deliberations. Over the next 5 years, sewer operating costs are projected to grow by 2.5% to 3% a year. Our projection is that the sewer enterprise will be able to cover this cost growth and planned capital expenses with a series of lower 2% sewer rate increases, starting with tonight's recommended increase. In the sewer enterprise, we're targeting a retained earnings balance that is 20 to 25% of the annual budget, a somewhat larger buffer than the 15% balance targeted for the water enterprise because of the risk factors that Mr. Khumalo and Mr. Westerling discussed. I'm confident that the rate actions recommended tonight position the water and sewer enterprises for a sound fiscal 2022, and the rate projections for coming years are reasonable given the information we have today. As a final matter, as Mr. Khumalo discussed, the Select Board will consider extending the sewer fee senior discount, which provides up to $200 off sewer charges for individuals who qualify for property tax exemptions from the Hopkinton Board of Assessors. This program was adopted at the rate hearing in 2019 and it was extended in 2020. For the current fiscal year, FY21, the town provided relief to 32 qualifying seniors at a cost of $6,258. For our average user who did not get the discount and who had to pick up that expense, the average bill of about $921 included about $3 to support that subsidy. So about a third of 1% of the bills of the other users go to support these seniors who get this $200 discount.
Great. Board members, any questions?
I don't know which one of you three I'm going to ask this to, but on the discount for the seniors, for the residential customers who receive the property tax exemptions, so those go to disabled vets, certain qualifying seniors, and Gold Star families?
Gold Star families are in there. So it's in, through the chair, Mr. Chairman, it's certain sections of the code, the Mass General laws that the assessors can grant exceptions for. And it's Chapter 40, Section 41, 22, 17, 37, and I think that's it, the four of those.
So that's veterans, blind,
yeah, but there's
seniors.
There's 22A, there's 22C, so there's a whole list of those, and I can actually provide that list of all those exemptions.
No, I appreciate that. That is one of the most satisfying things personally that I've been able to be part of in putting this in is helping those people, in our town to be able to hopefully have the people that have lived here for a long time, have them continue to live here and help them afford to live here.
So those users tend to consume less of water and less sewer use. Their average bill is about $750 instead of $921, and this relief provides an average 26% relief to these people. We have two very low users who pay no sewer bill because they use so little water and sewer.
It's a great thing.
That's excellent.
Now, I have a question. And this is about the water. I looked at all of these and I did the increment of how many cents they were going up. And I found that the largest one is the water, 1,000 cubic feet. It's going from $27.20 to $28.97, but it's going up $1.77, whereas all the others are going up less than 50 cents.
So
What can we do a senior thing for water now, or do we have to do something? We want to try to keep
Mr. Chairman?
them from paying so much.
Please.
So the water tier is a little bit different. There's a flat rate for use of up to 1,000 cubic feet of water. And with sewer, if you use just 100 cubic feet, you pay for just 100 cubic feet. But there's that flat rate at the base, which is basically a system maintenance cost for being in the system. And that rate went up by the 6.5%.
Yeah,
You're seeing that from 27.20 to 28.97.
Yeah, it did, but every single other tier is under 50 cents, and that tier is $1.77.
Right.
Something's-
But those other tiers are per 100 cubic feet, and there can be up to 8,000 cubic feet in tier 2 of water.
So that is from 0 to 1,000
Yeah.
cubic feet. It goes up, basically goes up $1.77. Here, it goes up 22 cents per 100. So if you multiply that by 10, that's actually going up $2.20.
Okay. I just,
It's a little, we
I
don't
see
have
the
that base
sewer.
tier for sewer.
Huh?
We don't have that base tier
No,
for
we
sewer.
don't
just
have that
charge
base for sewer.
Straight by use.
it's just a little bit concerning, because if every year that goes up 6.5%, that's going to go way up higher than everything else. And I'm looking at the 5-year projected, and they're projecting 6.5% all the way out.
That's correct.
So the people who are on the flat rate are going to wind up paying more, a lot more.
If I may, through the chair?
Sorry.
Please.
Try to help the
Sure.
the description. As was mentioned, if you use just 100 cubic feet, you're paying $27. That's the flat rate. That's the minimum. But then you go into the next tier, and let's say you're using 5,000 square feet, then that's per 100, so that's 50 times $3.31. So that's $150, and you're going up to $150 and change. So it's still 6.5%. It's just that if you look at it as a per 100 cubic feet, it's deceiving because the flat rate is just flat. That's the minimum. Does that help?
So I guess the other way to say it is, for someone who used 1,000 cubic feet, it would be exactly a 6.5% increase. But if you were someone who only somehow used 500 cubic feet, you'd actually be having, you'd have a bigger increase for your consumption, right? But that's the nature of that flat rate that was adopted for the first tier in water. So it's certainly something we can look at. We can write a paper on it and talk about what the implication would be for
It
that
just
low
stuck
tier.
out at me when I was doing the math here, and I said,
Sure.
if it goes out 5 years like that, it's going to be quite an increase on the flat rate, and not, the same increase year after year on the other rates. So, it'll be a lot in the end.
Worth using more.
If I could, Mr. Chair, it's not actually, the point is it's not apples to apples, right? So every user is paying a 6.5 increase. The flat rate user might be paying more if they use less than their allotment.
So most people use all of tier 1 and part of tier 2 and don't use tier 3. And there are people who have groves that they water through our system. And they use tier 1, 2, and they blast way into tier 3, and the industrial users use into tier 3. So
Yeah, I can see that.
And there's a significant jump.
Yeah.
For that usage.
Yes,
Which I
Makes a
think
lot
is
of
great.
sense. When you get that high up.
And that
then
was
of course.
purposeful by the board 2 years ago, I believe,
Right.
to change those rates and to start to create more spread there, to promote conservation, and so that people who were very large users would pay more than people who are very modest users. But you know, there's nothing magic about the 1,000 cubic foot. There could be a flat fee for some higher threshold. I mean, that's certainly something we could explore, but I guess the answer is 4,000 users have to pay the cost of this system. And the rates have been structured to be quite sensitive to the people at the bottom, or people who are concerned about water consumption or concerned about cost and choose to restrict their use to save money or to conserve. And these rates reward that.
Excellent.
Yes. So my only question is, I hate to go back to this, but there's on page 127 of our packet, it says water and sewer rate hearing public notice, and it gives a date and time. But that was just a mistake. Is that?
No.
It's,
if I may. There are public hearings that are called for by law.
okay.
There are public hearings that we call as a matter of practice and as a best practice. And the current hearing is not required by law.
It's just confusing that it's in the packet. Like, maybe it should say public meeting instead of hearing, if it's, yeah. Okay.
We like to elevate this to the status of a hearing, not just a meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we will be hearing from members of the public if there is anyone here that wants to?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and then I guess my only other comments are, I think the rate increases are reasonable. Nobody likes them to go up, but I like the exemption for the seniors and the other protected categories. It is concerning too that I guess in the future we're going to be looking at some big expenses for the Grove Street water tank is very old, and I understand it needs to be replaced. And that's important too, but that means rates are going to go up again in the coming years, so we have to keep an eye on that and make sure the public is aware.
The other thing I could add is that, you know, as we're hearing about all these increases, I think the connection to MWRA starts to sound a lot more reasonable, and so we don't have to incur these capital projects. Well, we would in making the connection, but it seems to be an option that we should be looking at. So,
or expanding.
If I might, Mr. Chair.
Of course.
Yeah. I had a couple thoughts too. I really appreciate the concept of an open public dialogue, because I had the opportunity to have the short course on water and sewer rates last night. Got my little certificate. I really appreciated that opportunity to get more up to speed. But I think that there's a relatively small number of users townwide. And while this is an issue that impacts those users in terms of their rates, the issue of conservancy and the ways that we grow and utilize water going forward, I think applies to everybody in town. And the more engagement that we get from all facets of the town, all members of the town, the industrial users, the non-rate payers, everybody investing in the conversation about how we move forward in terms of our water usage and also water treatment. Sewer is, you know, a pretty expensive convenience, and there are potentially ways that we could also be thinking, you know, more futuristically and thinking of ways that we can be doing, treating our water, treating our wastewater more efficiently, with more conservancy in mind. But I really want to make the point, I am not a ratepayer, for example. And ratepayers have seen, I asked for the courtesy of rates over the last several years, which I got today by email, and I really appreciate that. And the sewer ratepayers, they all know that they have had a substantial increase over time. So this year it's not so much, and it's really good news that the enterprise fund is in good shape and isn't going to impact the general fund. But the water rates are going to go up, and it's a pretty sure deal that this is really the tip of the, well, I won't say the tip of the iceberg, because that's a little bit too dramatic, but the rates, the work that we have to do to support the water system going forward is really expensive. And so Certainly, the ratepayers want to pay attention to it, but I want to invite everybody, myself and everybody who, isn't a ratepayer, but is interested in, being more ecologically friendly and environmentally friendly, definitely engage in those conversations, because it's going to impact everybody.
Absolutely. Mr. Wesley, do we expect to find a lot of II to kind of, as we go through this whole project here, are we expecting to find a lot of infiltration and inflow that's really driving up cost at this point?
Mr. Chairman, we have conducted 2 years' worth of smoke testing through a plan that was approved by the Department of Environmental Protection. We sectioned off the town into different sections. And in those 2 sections that we've already smoke tested, we found almost no inflow or infiltration. Our system is fairly young. The pipes are made of polyvinyl chloride. They're not the old clay tile pipes which crack and leak. We found no illegal connections. We found no illegal perimeter drains connected into the sewer system. So our sewer system is very sound. I won't say that it's 100% tight, because we do get some leakage in during heavy rains, for example, through manhole covers. But we tighten those, and we make sure that our covers are sound and the older ones get replaced. We have a very tight system, so we can rest assured that the majority of the water that's being sent to either Milford or Westboro or Fruit Street, that it doesn't contain anything but sewage.
That question is like the ghost of Mr. Catino's past, asked much nicer.
I guess that's both good and bad news. Good news is we have a tight system. Bad news is there's no low-hanging fruit to go after.
I have a question. Tim, did you say we had voted the senior discount through what year?
2019 and 2020.
So do we have to vote it to continue?
Yes.
It's on the motions.
It's on the motions, okay.
You ready for it? All right, Mr. Chair, I move to set the water rates for fiscal year 2022 with an increase of 6.5% effective July 1, 2021 as follows. 0 to 1,000 cubic feet, $28.97 per minimum. 1,001 to 8,000 cubic feet at $3.53 per 100 cubic feet. Over 8,000 cubic feet at $7.33 per 100 cubic feet.
Anyone want a second? Okay.
Second.
It's been seconded.
Any discussion? Hearing none.
Just confirm, there's no members of the public, I presume, on the Zoom, right, that want to comment?
Anybody in the
There may be members of the public who might have comments.
Anyone on there, Ben? No one.
No.
Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? No. Okay, it passes
Mr.
unanimously.
Chair, I move to set the sewer rates for fiscal year 2022 with an increase of 2% effective July 1, 2021 as follows. 0 to 1,000 cubic feet at $11.77 per 100 cubic feet. 1,001 to 8,000 cubic feet at $13.96 per 100 cubic feet. Over 8,000 cubic feet at $17.26 per 100 cubic feet.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? That passes.
Mr. Chair, I move to implement up to $200 per year sewer bill discount for sewer enterprise residential customers who receive property tax exemptions from the Hopkinton Board of Assessors under clauses 17, 22, 37, 41 of Section 5 in Chapter 59 of the Massachusetts General Laws for fiscal year 2022 effective July 1, 2021.
Second.
Second.
Can I ask one question? Is that only possible to do 1 year at a time, or can we do it for a more extended period of time?
I believe it's possible to do the credit beyond 1 year. However, we felt that for transparency and also accountability that the board be given the opportunity to discuss this regularly.
I would say, or through the chair, I would say in perpetuity, but the number we may be able to help the seniors more and these people more.
Yeah, and I also appreciate the transparency piece, but, and I really, as somebody who's, I feel like it's Groundhog's Day, meeting Matt Abrams, because I've worked with his dad when I was a select board member before. I really appreciate this innovation. This was not something that I knew that we were doing, and I really am glad we're doing it.
I think it's excellent that we have the ability, and I think it's excellent that we do it. So, on that note, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstain? Okay. Yes, so we have done it once again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ben.
Town manager report, Mr. Khumalo.
You guys can beat the traffic when you leave.
Until the guy who's in charge, he sits quietly in the back.
In your packet, I included the update from the town engineer and Michelle Maddock on the Main Street Corridor project. I encourage the board to reach out to me if you have any questions or comments on it, or if you have any suggestions in terms of how else we could be presenting those updates to the public.
Do they regularly appear on the website?
Yes, they do.
You can get them by email.
Oh, you can sign up for them by email, yes. Just on the Main Street Corridor project, in the spirit of full transparency, I'm going to go out and meet with some of the residents this week who have had concerns and speak to them just to understand their concerns a little bit better. And I'm happy to have you come if you'd like to come.
We'll be happy to join you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, excellent. And then pursuant to the board policy, as well as complying with the open meeting law, I am publicly announcing the release of the executive session minutes dated 1/10/2017, 12/18/2018, 3/14/2018, 6/2/2020, and we'll be continuing to do this in future meetings.
Excellent.
And then once these are released, the public can find them in the document section of the website if anyone is curious. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I'm just going to say is difficult to navigate. And maybe it's me, but it is hard to sort through those minutes, and it feels like it ought to be easier. Not a complaint, just an observation, truly.
The keyword search doesn't work, I think, is a problem for a lot of
If
people.
we could work on that, that would be a gift to us old folks down here, just including myself, when I say that.
But if you know the date, you can find the...
Yeah, no, your feedback is well taken. We'll discuss that with IT.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. Liaison reports. Does anybody have any?
No, I suppose that we will, for the Elementary School Building Committee, Part 2, we will, I'm sure Carol Kavanaugh will get that rolling pretty soon. That's all I have.
Okay.
I attended the mental health literacy workshop last night by I think it was in conjunction with the Youth and Family Services and the Mental Health Collaborative. And it was not very widely attended, so I hope more people will come to future events like that. So just be aware of mental health issues and what you can do, signs that you can look for, and ways to help.
The more we know, the better.
Yeah, I was just looking at this again, and as I looked at what it said here, I was under the impression that the Pratt Farm was going to Muriel, and the master plan team was going to Amy, and the marathon committee was going to Muriel. Irvine Tadaro I had last year, they didn't do anything. I want to know what they're going to do this year. And, you know, I would take that again, but I just thought all of these were taken care of.
Which are the ones again?
Open space, I thought was Amy too,
No,
was it
that's
not, Muriel? No?
I got open space.
Oh, you got it, Brendan has that.
The Irvine Tadaro, that's gonna, I believe that's gonna come back into light when the school does their $152 million campus over there. So that's, I think they're shooting for it to be on that piece of property.
Okay.
Okay.
Instead of Muriel, or do we have?
So, Mary Jo, did you, I don't remember what I said yes to last time. I mean, I loosely remember. Do you want the Irvine Tadaro for some?
No, I had it before, and we didn't do anything.
Okay,
last year,
all right.
so-
I was just trying to understand what had happened there.
Just
Okay.
kind of, did you want that?
I'm happy to do it.
Okay, that's
And you
fine.
have $1 billion, as I recall.
So I do have you as manager's budget team.
Yep.
Fire and police department went to Brendan, did it?
Yes.
Okay. Planning board.
Yep.
Veterans Celebration Committee?
That's me.
That's an old, it's gonna be an old list, Mary Jo.
Yeah, it is, but I made things on it.
I think what we have right now is the Irvine Tadaro, we have the Pratt Farm, Open Space, and Marathon Fund. I think that's what we're voting on for today, right?
Yeah, but we had already given most of those to Muriel.
I don't think we officially voted.
Or Amy
We haven't voted on it, yeah.
We discussed but didn't vote, I think.
Okay.
So the whole list, I think, is up, right?
Well, there's a motion for these specific
Yes.
ones that have to be appointed.
Can I just, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Just in the spirit of a liaison report from the planning board, I just want to make it clear to the public that I have officially resigned. The position has been posted. What I believe the applications for interested people need to be in by June 22nd, if I have that correct. Norman, is it the 22nd, do you know?
No, I don't.
I think it is, but definitely check with Connor, the town clerk. If you're interested, get your application in as soon as possible. And that will be for the 1-year unexpired term. And, we appreciate all interested comers.
Will that be probably at our next meeting? It'll have to be joint with the planning board, I guess.
Probably. I mean, I think we first need to get some applicants in and
I think we have applicants.
Yeah. Okay. So, I request a motion to approve the fiscal year 2022 liaison list and to appoint Muriel Kramer to the Irvine Tadaro Properties Advisory Group to a term for the life of the project. Muriel Kramer to the Pratt Farm Master Plan Team to a term for the life of the project. Brendan Tedstone to the Open Space Preservation Commission to a term expiring June 30th, 2026, and Muriel Kramer to the Marathon Fund Committee to a term expiring June 30th, 2022.
So moved. Second?
Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Okay, passes. Future board agenda items. Does anybody have a future agenda item?
I do not.
I guess I would just suggest, Elaine had sent out to us the list of future agenda items that have been suggested in the past, and I thought it might be a good exercise for us that maybe, this is a long meeting, but at a shorter meeting,
Yeah.
to go through and see which ones we want to bring up this summer.
And that's a great idea. I think once we have a shorter meeting ahead of us, we can tack that
I
on.
don't know if our July meeting is shorter, but
Usually the summers, they're not shorter because we're condensing the whole month into one.
Right.
So, but
we'll find some
But
time.
there's some worthy
we'll
things.
whip through it.
It's on the list.
Just a note, where we talked about water and sewer tonight, everybody should have got their annual water quality study in the mail, and it's very good. Please pay attention.
Excellent. Well, Ms. Ritterbush,
Oh, so I move to adjourn the meeting then, or do you have any?
No, I'm all set.
Second?
I'll second that, yeah.
all right, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you all.
Hearing none. Thank you, everyone.